to Tech Talk 2020 with Sanjay Parker, the show where we get smarter together. Thank you for joining us today on a beautiful day. I'm here with my co-host, Mike Carswell. We're going to talk about Olympic technology, especially the technology that we're going to see in the next Olympics in Japan. How are you guys today?
Hey, this is Mike Carswell. Good evening, Sanjay. Good evening, everybody out there listening to Tech Talk 2020. We are glad to be here on WINT 1330 AM and 101.5 FM. And you can also listen to us on WINTradio.com. We are so excited to be here on Tech Talk 2020 in this edition where we're going to discuss athletic things, which, my man, I am a ex-jock. So I kind of get it. In the last couple of weeks of watching the Olympics have been nonstop in our house, all the channels. You know I'm still a cable guy, so we watched NBC, we watched USA Network, we watched some other network. They had like 5 or 6 channels where you could watch the Olympics nonstop. So we watched a lot.
Very cool.
Pretty
So
cool.
we watched some of the Olympics as well, especially the basketball, on our over-the-air antenna, which received NBC at no cost, and it was in high def, so that was kind of fun.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty interesting. And me being a former athlete myself, cross-country outdoor track.
I respect that. I respect that.
And one day of wrestling.
You wrestled for one day?
I didn't like the practices.
You didn't like rolling around on the floor with another guy?
Another sweaty guy
That's
in
kind
a
of rough.
place that hasn't had ventilation. In
I
years.
could say I'm feeling that, but honestly, being a basketball player, I wasn't feeling that.
Yeah, no. So other than that, it was pretty glorious. Yeah, but no. So definitely a lot of cool technology. Let's start off with a little Olympic history. Let's talk about some innovation.
Was this the 31st Olympiad or something like that? I kept hearing. I can't remember.
I
now.
think I did. So
Oh, my
31 times 424 years. You think?
No, I don't think so.
So did we start? I think Olympics started a little bit before that, didn't they?
I don't know. Go on. Who
Anyway,
cares?
we'll have to Google that during break. So in 1912, we've got an example of innovation that's happening in the Olympics, something that a lot of people use today, more so even in the 80s, and something that I'll give you a hint,
Okay.
something that you might have had on you every day
Right.
before you got your phone.
Oh, a watch.
Digital timepieces in
Oh, yeah.
1912.
Well, I'm a big watch guy. Matter of fact, I'm one of those guys. I'm so old school, and I've taught my boys this too. It's kind of weird. If I don't have a watch on, I feel kind of naked. And I had one of my sons exactly tell me that it's always easier to tell what time it is by looking at your phone. And I said, but if my phone is in my pocket, how can that be easier than turning my arm and looking at the time? So today's kid will justify anything, but wristwatches are pretty cool. So timing, I'm with you.
Yeah, there's something that's classic about a real timepiece. You know, you can get your Apple Watch and you can have it, on your phone or your, Android watch and all
Sure.
of the, the Moto 360s and the options that you have. But just having a timepiece, it says something about your preparation, right? And how you wake up and dress yourself. Absolutely. So I think that's cool. So in 1936, this is the year that the Olympics were in Berlin.
Jesse Owens, my friend.
Jesse Owens.
Cleveland born.
Yep. Awesome story about it. The movie was pretty cool.
Sure.
It just came out, I think, 2 years ago.
Actually, my stepdad was a friend of his and went to East Tech with him. So,
That's awesome.
So he claims to have helped him with some things, but
Some pointers
yeah, some pointers
on how to be
That's right,
humble in victory.
Yeah, I used to help Michael Jordan with his jump shot too. So I believe that story when I heard it. But he mentioned something about coming out of the chutes and holding a broom at a certain level, so that when you propel yourself from the start, he would keep himself below the broom. So it was a story
Wow.
that I listened to.
That's cool. That's cool.
You always listen to stories of folks that are older than you, except for you. You don't listen to me.
I'm sorry, what were you saying? So I do listen to you. A lot of good advice. You old timers, definitely. So the technology, 1936. So think about it. I mean, you saw Jesse Owens running. You saw some of the boxing matches. You saw various dictators looking very sad when the U.S. took different golds, and
Sure.
disproved their, Aryan theories and things like that.
Out the window.
Yeah. So you remember seeing that footage, right?
Sure. Yes.
Do you remember seeing any footage before in the 32 Olympics?
You know
or
what?
the
I
28?
don't think I do.
The big innovation was video capture and documentation in 1936.
That makes sense.
So that was a big deal.
How timely. How
the-
timely with Jesse Owens' performance.
Absolutely.
That was the first video.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Well, I
That's
think
awesome.
that video helped get that story out too, right? I mean, there's probably a lot of great stories too. Not quite with all of the nuances of that for sure, but definitely. I mean, we like to see things even when we weren't there. We like to get a feel of that. That's why YouTube is so popular, to watch events
Gotcha.
and we see all that. So 2016, an innovation that you may not have thought of. What do you think of in terms of innovation this year?
What was new? I think that ugly light green basketball court for the games, the basketball games, was wicked. That wasn't very. I don't know. You know what? One thing I must admit that I did enjoy is in the volleyball. When between points, all the music and the dancing that took place, that was hysterical. I thought it was really funny. That
We're talking about innovation, not de-innovation or devolution.
No, the DJs were. So I don't know.
That kind of pumps up the crowd.
Let me see what else was innovative about this. Well,
this might not have been something. It's definitely not something you saw during the Olympics. It's something that helped a lot of athletes before the Olympics started.
Well, you got me there. I think maybe plane reservations. I don't know.
Kind of. Well,
okay.
I mean, think about being an Olympic athlete. You train 6 days a week, like Simone Biles, right?
Yep.
She does every day except Sunday. She trains every day, years and years and years. Her parents or her relatives own, a practice facility, so that helped. But
yeah,
most athletes and her too, you don't get paid to train, right?
Correct. That's free stuff.
Free stuff. So unless your family's super rich and wealthy and can pay for that, or you're very young and, it's just hard. It's a lot of expense on the parents. So crowdfunding became a key component of the 2016 Olympics because it enabled a lot of athletes. What did the U.S. bring in the delegation? Like 700 athletes or something?
No, I don't think it was that high, but it was more than anyone else.
It was 300 at least. I mean, some athletes we never really heard of, right? And still haven't because they didn't, but they trained hard. They're world class.
I don't know who the world class skeet shooters are for our country.
Right.
Or the ping pong players. I'm sorry. Oops. Table tennis.
But think about the practice. So crowdfunding helped some of the parents, get flights to come out to see their kids, and make reservations. And there were a lot of people who were definitely looking to support our U.S. Olympic team in ways that, even a few dollars here and there really helped. So they do GoFundMe accounts.
Oh, they really?
They find, ways to help get that spirit of support from the common person. So I thought that was great.
Now, in other nations, obviously, they don't enjoy the wealth that we have here in the U.S. Like, let's say, for instance, we saw, I've been to Jamaica. I know how poor of a nation that is. And there's other countries that only have 5, 6, 7, maybe 12 athletes there. So they probably suffer from having the ability to send folks, because they don't have the vehicles that we have here, correct?
Yeah, it's kind of, interesting when I saw our basketball players who were just amazing, play some of these other countries where it's kind of like regular people playing against millionaires. And so they probably came in and had the attitude, you guys are soft, rich people. So, it's great that the U.S. did get gold and prove, their medal to get the medal. But I thought it was kind of quite an interesting, element when you have people who are so wealthy playing the same game as people who have never seen.
Well, I mean, sports is a great unifier. And I think that that's a good thing. But I did notice this as well, and I'll let you get to your point. I noticed that there are some sports that I would almost call exclusive sports because you've got to be pretty well off to be a gymnast or in an environment that helps you to stay well off because if you think of, there's no poor nations. I mean, Peru, Colombia, pick a country that does not have the financial wherewithal, and they don't have gymnasts. They don't have skiers. They don't have people that have these. It costs a lot more money to play hockey than it does to play basketball. It is a lot more money to invest in those things. So sometimes tennis than some of the others. The running. I mean, for instance, anybody can sprint. So if you got a guy that can run, that can train, you can get information to do that. You don't really need the top-notch facility for that.
Yeah,
so
good point.
There's a differentiator, I think, in sometimes the athletes in the nation. So, but that's not technical stuff. Let's talk technical stuff. That's just
no, that is
athletics.
cool. No, those are valid points, definitely. So I do think that overall, just as a general statement, technology has been and will continue to be the great equalizer with a lot of things, right? So we can definitely talk more about that on every future show. But so I think there are a lot of innovations. Now, some of the innovations that we saw for the first time that actually happened during the Olympics, in terms of the performances, for example, during the 1,500-meter swim.
That gets kind of long.
Yeah, those are long. Sometimes the athletes actually forget what lap they're on, right? You have to go back and forth. So now we had this year digital lap counters, which is kind of cool. So as you swim and you hit that button to flip around, there's a lap counter at the bottom of the pool
Okay.
that shows the swimmer what
Really?
lap they're on. So it
Okay.
reminds them. It's kind of a visual indicator. I think that's cool because now you're more, the old school folks might say, well, we never had that. That was part of the mental game. But,
That's right. We walked to school uphill both ways. that kind of thing. Yeah, sure.
as you can attest to today, athletic accomplishments today are more tied to physical performance.
Mhm.
In a lot of sports, we still need brains, to be great at basketball, like LeBron, and to, some of the older guys. Elgin Baylor, did you know I knew that name?
I'm impressed.
I mean, he had to, he had to know Kuzi. They had to know, all about the game to do well. But
Sure.
you see a lot of sports where just raw physicality of people is just so embraced, and it, really helps them do well. Now we're taking, if we're taking away some of the mindful things, we're just focusing on physicality. So with that technology, it's saying, look, you don't even have to keep track of your laps. Just swim as hard as you can, as
We'll
much
count
as
it
you
for
can.
you. Sure.
There's some strategy involved, but so there's that. With a lot of the things that happened in the Olympics this year as well, data and analytics. So we're capturing weightlifters from every single angle. We're watching their lift points, their speed. We're doing the same thing with volleyball, right?
Mhm.
You've got, analytics, talking about all of the shots and the tendencies, and they're crunching those things to try to come up with strategies. And they're looking at all that stuff with rowing. Now, they've done things where you can, they track with positional sensors where they're at, each boat, what speed they're going at, and you can watch it, and see their strategies. Some, some rowing teams will go more slowly at first and then speed up in the middle, and then whatever it is, you can analyze those strategies.
Just like with someone that was running track, in the 400. If I remember when the women ran their 400 4x4 relay, they talked about Allison Felix and when in her one trip around the ring, one trip around the track, when she was going to accelerate, what she traditionally had done and to be successful. So there's a lot of technical stuff that goes into being an athlete that I think, again, we appreciate, we see when we watch, but we really don't, understand it all. And technology, you mentioned swimming. So I was just amazed one time when the Americans won a gold medal by 0.6 seconds. Was that 0.6 seconds gained in entry of the pool? Was it gained at the exit of the pool? I mean, it's just such minuscule detail and again, technicalities that they get involved in. It's amazing.
It is, and some of the strategies, even with the runners, right? Some are lapping a little bit behind, and then they work hard at the end. Some are just running hard. It's like, wow, it'd be so neat to analyze all those strategies and everything. So cool stuff. One last cool innovation for the 2016 Olympics, and when we come back from the break, we'll talk about the 2020 Olympics in Japan. I think we are going to have our minds blown in terms of the technology there. But in 2016, what we did this year was we talked about virtual reality on one of our previous shows.
Yes.
And that's putting on a headset or using your Samsung Gear Galaxy device to actually feel like you're somewhere else. So when you look around and move your head and crouch down, your entire field of perspective changes, and the things you're seeing changes. So your brain is tricked into thinking you're actually there. Well, the opening and closing ceremonies were available for VR headsets. So the Samsung Gear.
I did see
So
that.
you can actually get in there and watch it like you're sitting there in the stands. You can look around. You can look at different things. You can look behind you and see other people, not real people, but simulated people, because it's your own experience.
Any Pokemon?
Quite
Could resist that one.
probably
Yeah.
people playing Pokemon. Quite amazing stuff though. But that's where the future is headed. You don't have to be in a physical space. You can actually feel like you're there. It'll get better and better.
Wow. Better and better. Hey, speaking of better and better, we hope that the next part of our shows and every show you listen to is going to get better and better as we get smarter together. We're going to step away from the microphones for a few minutes, but we'll be right back here on Tech Talk 2020. If you have a thought on the Olympics, something cool that you noticed, hit us up on our Facebook page, which is Tech Talk 2020 on Facebook. Or, you can go to our Twitter handle, which is also Tech Talk 2020. So thanks for listening for the first half here. We'll be back here on 101.5 FM and 1330 AM WINT Radio.
Paddleboard Bryan Chevrolet is your commercial truck headquarters. We have dump trucks, chassis cabs, pickups, cargo vans, flatbeds, every kind of truck for every kind of job. If you're a business owner looking for a truck, we got them. Come get them at Pat O'Brien Chevrolet.
Are you ready to party? Lost Nation Sports Park has countless special event possibilities for all ages, from 10 people to 8,000. Tired of the same old catering hall? Get creative, mix it up. Do something different for your anniversary, birthday, or bridal, baby, or wedding shower. Put some fun in your fundraiser, or take corporate team building strategic planning sessions for office parties off-site. Call Marilyn, 440-604-2000. Lost Nation Sports Park. Put action in your action plan.
Pat O'Brien Chevrolet thanks those who dedicate their lives to keeping us safe, defending freedom in the American way of life. Policemen, firemen, and the military, past and present, deserve our support and gratitude. At Pat O'Brien Chevrolet, we say God bless you and God bless America.
Buy local, shop local, locally grown or produced. Over the past few years, more and more people have become aware of and interested in not only where they spend their money, but from where their products come. This is Robin Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory, and since our company was founded over 25 years ago, we have been providing our customers with exactly that, a locally manufactured product from a locally owned and operated company. The Original Mattress Factory was founded on the principle of producing quality mattresses in our own factory and selling them directly to the consumer, right here in Cleveland. We take tremendous pride in being able to offer you a great value on quality, hand-built, and locally made mattresses at our everyday low factory direct prices. So for a true local mattress experience, come to our factory and see for yourself. You can also stop by an Original Mattress Factory store near you or visit us at originalmattress.com to see how we make mattresses right here in Cleveland.
Welcome back to Tech Talk 2020 with Sanjay Parker. I am your host, Sanjay Parker, and I'm here with my co-host, Mike Carswell. Today we're talking about Olympic technology, and we're going to focus on 2020 in Japan pretty soon. Great show today. Thank you guys for joining and listening.
I'm sorry I was jamming too much over here. I do have, before we jump to 2020, though, can we just mention that over the last 12 years, there's nobody faster on the planet than Jamaica's Usain Bolt. I mean, just crazy.
Ridiculous, yeah.
I was looking at some stats, and I think his speed of light to fast, the guy was running 28 miles an hour.
The average human, what, tops out at,
I don't know.
10, 12?
I top out at about 11.5 mpHs myself. I don't have the speed I used to have. But 28 miles an hour, that's pretty stinking fast.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Awesome. We'd like to thank our sponsor today, who's very fast and into speed for your networks and your IT problems. CleveSpace Interactive, frictionless IT for smarter businesses. Any technology challenges or goals that you have for your small and medium business, they'd be happy to help you. 440-360-7360, www.clevespace.com.
Like it.
So cool. So let's focus on Olympic history is amazing. It's rich. There's so many great stories. There's books written. It's just awesome. But in the remainder of our show today, we're going to talk about the next Olympics, 2020 in Japan. Japan is the most automated and robotic country on the planet.
Okay, well, I like to hear 2020 all over again, up and down, because obviously it's the name of our show.
That's right. That's right.
So Japan has always been a kind of a technical type country. I believe in my lifetime they have been, and just look what they've done to the auto industry, and some other things have been done with the Nintendo and some other the gaming industry. Technology has rolled out of Japan significantly. So I am looking forward to the 2020 Olympics if it's God's will that I'm still around.
You'll be around. You'll be around.
But that would be kind of cool. I wonder what they're going to do.
Yeah.
What you got any insight on that?
Well, let's start with a little bit of a culture of Japan, and we're not talking about Godzilla. And
I love Godzilla.
Beyond that.
How about sushi?
Sushi, excellent, great, amazing place, just great for visitors. A very small island, relatively speaking, with such an incredible. I think it was 4,600 people per square mile in Tokyo.
That's a lot of folks.
That is a lot of folks.
Wow.
But it's highly, highly developed as well. So we're talking excellent use of land and resources, but they, kids grow up there. I was listening to a founder of a company that has a hotel, and they've automated almost everything in the hotel. So they're using 1/5 of the staff that a traditional hotel will use. So for example, when you walk up to your room,
Yes.
there's a little automated cart that you put your bags on, you type in your room number, and you follow it to your room, or you can go to your room first and it'll find its way there.
Really?
And so
Okay.
you don't need a bell person. You check yourself in, and we can do that in the U.S. now. There's some places where you can swipe and use a kiosk and get your room keys right there. But they also have a virtual humanoid attendant. So I've seen it. It's like a female sitting there that you can ask questions, and it's actually a robot.
Wait. So when I go up to the counter where I usually engage and have a little eye contact with someone that I'm about to hand my money to or my credit card to or whatever, you're saying we're going to eliminate that person.
Well, that person might be there, but from midnight until 6 in the morning, if you have any questions, you talk to the humanoid.
Okay.
So this hotel, it's got about 125 rooms.
Okay.
Cost $20 million to build. Significant investment. Their ROI is about 10 years where they'll break even. They estimate they're saving about $600,000 a year just in staffing costs. Right? So
They don't have to pay any unions or anything
right,
like that,
no
so
taxes, no unemployment, no all that stuff.
vacation pay.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Until robots form a union.
That's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. So you walk up to your floor and you might see a Roomba, sweeping up the halls, right?
Nice,
Instead
nice.
of a person. It's interesting because somebody stayed there and they said it's probably the quietest, most peaceful stay they've ever had at a hotel because you hardly see any humans.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. What if I'm there and I want to have a party and I'm getting out of control with my party? Will the humanoids come up and tell me, you guys, hey, keep it down in there?
They might call you, but there's going to be humans there to deal with the exceptions. The whole rule or the goal of robotics at this point is to take away the repetitive, mundane, non-engaging tasks that humans don't like to do.
You had a term for that before. We're supposed to be getting smarter together.
Administrivia.
Administrivia. Who remembers that from the
Basic,
first couple
boring
shows?
stuff. Right. Check in, check out. Basic questions like, can you set a wake-up call? Well, the humanoid can set that for you.
So if I have an administrative issue, let's say I go to my hotel room and there's something wrong with my room. I can go to the humanoid, or the humanoid can fetch a person for me.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
okay, as long as
absolutely.
we're not getting rid of people completely.
No, then, yeah. You have to have, even when I was in Munich for BMW, they said for every robot they built since 1950 or bought, they hired 3 humans, to work alongside it, to operate it, and to repair it. Right?
Yeah, but
So
those
you
humans are really not, they're going to be replaced eventually. So we'll be 3 to 1 now. It's becoming.
They'll find different jobs. Do you know from 100 years ago what percentage of people are still involved in agriculture in the U.S. alone?
I think we discussed this one time, but I know it's something in the neighborhood of the U.S. used to have, maybe 50 or 30 or 40% of people involved in the whole agricultural process, and it's down to 2% now or something crazy like that.
Yeah, there's only 2% of the people who are in agricultural, big ag or little ag in
And
the
they grow
US.
the food for all of us.
Yeah,
And for half the
because
world,
of
too.
technology and innovation. Absolutely.
That's amazing, Feek. That's amazing, folks. That's amazing.
So what other cool things might we see in Japan? And they are looking to pull out all the stops. The last Olympics that Japan had, I think it was 1964. And, they did some amazing things there. I mean, they just, I think they had do you remember the Shinkansen, the bullet train?
Ooh.
Well, that was the world's fastest train.
Okay.
And so they unveil that to the world, and other countries have followed suit. So expect something with a Hyperloop style train, something using magnetic levitation, right, where there's no frictionless, right?
Right, yep.
So they're levitating using magnets, and they're going up to maybe 400 miles per hour,
Wow.
these trains.
Wow.
And so moving people is going to be key. Think about, they already have a McDonald's there and other restaurants where you go in, and there's literally no humans working. It's all, just stocked and staffed by robots and touchscreen interfaces. You order what you want, you pay for it with a kiosk, it gets prepared in the back, and then it gets dropped out to you in a chute, what you would normally get. No humans.
Will they take cash?
What's cash?
Will they take S&H green stamps?
They might.
Well,
We'll
can,
have to.
Can I write a check?
We'll have to. I would bring your plastic just in
Can I
case.
write a check?
No, checks are not allowed.
Well, you're mentioning the Summer Olympics were last in Tokyo in 1964. You're right, but 1972, the Winter Olympics were also in Japan.
Oh, neat.
I can't pronounce the city, so I'm not going to mess with it. It's tough.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's tough.
Japan is a great
And in '98, they had them in Nagano.
host country. Yeah,
Nagano.
that's right.
That's Japan too. So they've had some Olympics there. That kind of lends itself to some credence that you're mentioning. This is a pretty cool country.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So some of the cool things that they're going to do, besides the maglev trains, think about like convenience. They're thinking about another million people coming in, or 920,000 they're estimating, just for the Olympics into that
We should go.
area. Oh, we
Let's
should do our
that-
show from
We
there.
should do our show live from Tokyo.
That would be awesome.
Write it down, folks. Start
let's
sending
start-
in money right now. Help get us there.
Yeah. So they're going to have personal translators that you wear on your neck, because Japan is actually not a great country for understanding English, right? So there's not a lot of people who know English that are native Japanese folks. So talking into your translator that will translate up to 10 different languages in real time for Japanese people who are there.
Wow.
So think about that. So you can do that. They're talking about artificial meteor shows. So there's a company that's going to launch a little object into the sky, and it will create a meteor shower effect by using things that burn up as it goes through the sky like a normal meteor shower. Pretty amazing stuff. The other thing that we're going to see is, today you've heard of HD TV.
Yes, sir.
You've heard of 4K TVs, right? The
Not
next
yet.
step.
No, I have not.
So that's pretty hot now.
Mhm.
4K TVs are all the rage. They're at the price point that HD TVs were 5-6 years ago. They're going to have 8K TVs. So you can see all the detail. $125,000 per TV today. They're planning to have this mass produced and captured in 8K, super high, whatever they're going to call it, def. So you can see the athletes, every little pore on their bodies as they run and swim and jump. So pretty cool stuff. So
No,
I
thank
think we're going to see a ton of cool stuff. Automated driving vehicles and taxis. We're going to yawn at that by 2020. So it'll be pretty amazing stuff.
That's your prediction?
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it. We'll see it together. We'll get
Yeah.
smarter together. We're going to Tokyo, buddy.
That's right.
Me and you. Let's make that a goal.
Well, thank you guys for listening to us today. It was a fun show. We love talking about cool things as it relates to the real world.
And stuff's coming our way. Glad to be a part of it here on Tech Talk 2020. Again, thanks for tuning in to hear Sanjay and I talk about technology, what's going on, and what's coming. Here on 101.5 FM, WINT Radio, and 1330 AM, also WINT. You can check out our show on our Facebook page, which is Tech Talk 2020. And you can also listen to us on the air, on the internet, at WINT Radio, WINTradio.com. This is Mike, Sanjay. Have a great week.